So if you don't know, yesterday it was announced that Kell Brook is going to be returning to fight this guy, Sergey Rabchenko. This is him versus Anthony Mundine a couple of years ago.
Landing the left hook on the right hand, and Rabchenko responding. A good back and forth contest in the last round. They both took some great shots. What a great way to finish this fight.
He also fought Tony Harrison, and that was his last loss, a stoppage. I was at that fight. No, I wasn't. It was last year, 2016. Anyway, let's go look at his resume real quick. Here he is right here. His name is Sergey Rabchenko. You can go full screen. 29-2 with 22 KOs. He's from Minsk, Belarus. He's 31 years old. He's listed at 5'10". He's spent majority of his career at 160 pounds, but he's ranked number 7 by the WBC. He's not ranked by the WBA, the WBO, or the IBF. So this is a comeback fight for Kell Brook to be able to say, okay, well, Kell Brook is fighting a guy who's ranked in his comeback fight, so he's not pulling just some name out of nowhere. So the selling point is going to be when Brook is asked, or Eddie Hearn, the promoter of Kell Brook, is asked, why did you pick Sergey Rabchenko? They're going to say, well, because, you know, he's a ranked fighter and this and that and this and that. This was right here, Kell Brook's last fight, where in multiple fights, 2 big fights that he should get credit for taking, you know, one against Gennady Golovkin, you know, then in return, you know, in his next fight after the fight, Errol Spence. You know, so respect should be given off that alone. And also, look at the fact that in the beginning of the fights, the first several rounds, 4 or 5, 6 rounds of the fight, he was winning the fight, doing a really good job in the fight. But in both fights, of course, as you know, he got his eye socket broken. And TstreeT Controversy, this is TstreeT Controversy Live. I cover every single major fight live. Also, you know, a lot of people are saying that Kell Brook should have been moved to 154 pounds, and that going down to 100 and back down to 147 after fighting Golovkin at 160 was bad for his career. But hey, he signed the contract. We're not making no excuses for him. He got his eye socket broken both times. So now he's making his debut. Not his debut. He's fought above 147 pounds before, but now he's on his way to the 147-pound division. 154-pound division to fight guys like this. Now, he's fighting for the WBC. Sergey Rabchenko was ranked number 7 by the WBC. So for those who don't know, you know, and I've said it many times, but you'd be surprised how many people who don't know that when you're a champion, you have to fight somebody ranked in the top 15 of your division. In this case, Sergey Rabchenko is ranked number 7 by the WBC. So you have to ask yourself, well, Kell Brook is looking for a title at 154. That's what you're in that division to do. So you have to ask yourself, well, since he's being ranked by the WBC, if he's going after Charlo's title, 30-0 with 15 KOs, WBC 154-pound champion. He's been called, he said names like Lara, 25-2 with 14 KOs. But here's the thing. Nobody really wants to fight Lara, and I doubt Kell Brook would fight Lara, especially when Lara broke the eye socket of, didn't he break the eye socket of Alfredo Angulo? But Lara is ashamed to say, even though he's a big feather in the cap of anybody who can beat him cleanly and decisively, it's no money in him. And also, there's rumors circulating around that Lara may be finally moving to 160 pounds. You have a champion right now in Jarrett Hurd, who is considered, you know, an up-and-coming star, but he's not. Put it this way, each fight, his resume is getting better, and we're learning more and more about him. So each fight, technically, he was supposed to lose. You know, when you look at the when you look at the Tony Harrison fight, people was like, okay, he's probably going to lose that fight. Remember, Tony Harrison fought Sergey Rabchenko to get a shot, you know, at that IBF, and Jarrett Hurd and Tony Harrison fought for the vacant IBF title at 154 after Charlo moved up. But not to confuse you too much, you know, people thought he was going to lose to Austin Trout, and before Saddam Ali jumped into the picture, WBO 154-pound champion, 26-1, a lot of people thought that Jarrett Swift Hurd was the weakest of the 154-pound champion. This is not me saying it. This is what the consensus is that a lot of fans were feeling at the time. So the question you ask yourself is, put your promoter's cap on. Who do you think that they're going to go after? You know, if they beat Sergey Rabchenko, meaning Kell Brook, sometime in 2018. I'm thinking they're going to probably go after Saddam Ali, but Saddam Ali's mandatory is Liam Smith. Liam Smith is Frank Warren. Kell Brook is Sky Sports' Eddie Hearn, and those two haven't worked together on a big fight of this scale. You know, so a lot of people think he may not go that route just because, unless Saddam Ali, you know, is allowed to fight Kell Brook as a voluntary if they don't say, well, you have to fight Liam Smith next. So that's going to be interesting. But my best bet will be that Kell Brook will probably try to go after Jarrett Swift Hurd. You know, and if we were to see Kell Brook go after Jermell Charlo, then you have to think like, okay, that's some real shit right there. But truth be told, knowing what we've seen from the boxing politics and in this, you know, generation, that's just usually, you know, not what, you know, like happens. So in my opinion, you know, him fighting Sergey Rabchenko, it's a good, you know, move. You know, it's a comeback fight. You got you a fighter that's ranked, even though that does not determine that because Sergey Rabchenko was ranked by the WBC, that this fight will get Kell Brook a ranking in the WBC. It doesn't necessarily mean that he's going to go after Jermell Charlo. You see what I'm saying? Now, it's a big, now, if he was to fight Jermell Charlo, that's a big fight to American hardcore fans, but also, you know, it's going to be a big fight overseas as well, especially if Jermell Charlo decides to go overseas to try to get some of that UK money. But I doubt it. And these are all things that are supposed to happen in 2018. So it's actually, you know, good that Kell Brook is getting back in March. By the way, the fight's going to be on March the 3rd. In Sheffield, because maybe if Kell Brook wants, he can squeeze in 3 fights in 2018, fight in May, sometime in July or August or September, and then could still squeeze in a fight, you know, in December, you know. So, T-Street Controversy. This is T-Street Controversy Live. I cover every single major fight live. All the links to my social media are right down below in the description box. Kell Brook versus Sergey Rabchenko, March the 3rd. It will likely, you know what's going to be interesting? Now that I was going to end the video, but I haven't touched on this. You know, now that you have Eddie Hearn aligning himself with HBO, could Kell Brook end up on HBO? You know, because I was going to say this fight is probably going to be on Showtime, but it could very well end up on HBO. You know, because HBO has some budget room. You know, and also we've seen that Eddie Hearn has this Matchroom USA that's aligned with HBO. So, you know, so many questions. But anyway, I'm T-Street Controversy. This is T-Street Controversy Live. I cover every single major fight live. All the links to my social media are right down below in the description box. Please subscribe.